God, we thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your protection.
We lost you, Carrie. Okay, let me go back.
Know that you know our name. With us, guide us.
We keep losing you, Carrie. So you go in and out. Okay, so
just know that God is hearing her prayer right now. She is going forward in Jesus' name.
And we can feel it.
In Jesus' name.
amen.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Yeah, go in and out. Thomas, you want to introduce Tom this morning?
Yes. Good morning, everybody, from the sunny state of Arizona. And in fact, I don't like to hate, because I do want to be able to show you all, see outside, see how nice it is out there. Y'all see the sun out there and all that kind of stuff. So, well, you know what? That's the reason why I'm always in Sunday school, because I need to be redeemed. Okay. So y'all just help me. But I am so excited to have my best friend on the call. One of my best friends, because I have several who are men that are important to my life. And this is my Chicago longtime best friend, and who's now an Atlantan, as I call it, Tom Morish. And I just want to say how excited I am to have Tom on this particular session, because as Patrice and I started writing this book, or even, well, Tom was really the inspiration for the book. So let's make that very clear, is that we were having a discussion one time in our basement while he and his wife were visiting. And Patrice just started asking questions about, I don't understand this particular call in football, And so Tom and I just started talking with her and kind of just made some comparisons to marriage. And she's like, oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense. I understand that. So that's the reason why we're excited to have Tom presenting this lesson on this morning. And he's going to continue. So I'm going to get out of Tom's way and allow him to go forth and do his thing. And actually, the other part of it that Patrice did not share is that Tom and Patrice were also co-teachers when Tom lived here. And they always fought about who was the best teacher, him or her. And both of them are just, they're good, but they're arrogant teachers. They realize that they're both good, So, but you all will see this morning, and you will enjoy this particular session with my friend, Tom Moore. So good morning, Tom, and it's off to you, man.
Good. Everyone can hear me okay? Just wave.
And I'm gonna get in and get my hello. Hey, everybody.
And there's Wifey. Wifey's shy, so she told
Hey, Steffi.
Hey, everybody.
Okay. Yeah, introduce your wife and tell us how long you've been married.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is my wife, Stephanie Morish. No hyphen. We've been married now. December will make 35 years. It actually will. And they just flew by.
Yeah, good.
I think she mind wiped me, but that don't matter. That's just love. You don't count no years no more.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. So in today's lesson, we're actually going to continue where Patrice and Thomas left off. I was getting prepared for first quarter, but I remember they kind of stopped in the middle of the actual prologue or the draft, because you all were interacting so wonderfully. There's no way they could rush it. And I completely understood that. And you guys wanted to talk. So that was good. So we're sort of back to the draft again. When you're just meeting each other, supposedly finding out great things about each other. Now, some of you got to think back a little bit. I get that. Again, we're 35 years, and I had to stop and we had to sit down and discuss when we first met, what really happened and what were you hiding from me, and why did you just order a salad only and that's it, and now you eat like normal? Just little stuff like that. Because again, because we're talking during that dating phase, you're not showing them who you truly are, because you're not ready yet. I mean, it's going to take up 2 or 3 dates, maybe 4 or 5. It doesn't matter. But you're putting on your best face, your best front. Okay. And so that was sort of the draft thing. But you were talking about, as we start talking about football, when you start looking at what you need for your team, in this case, what do you need for you? Kind of look at it that way. What am I looking for out there? Or even if you've been married from 1 year to 30, it doesn't matter, or 40, that doesn't matter. What were you looking for? I want you guys, as we kind of go through this lesson, think about that now. Think about what you were looking for. I know you got to go back a little bit, but y'all got some good memories. What you have now and how those expectations have actually changed. And that's okay. That's marriage. Because I was telling my wife that cute little thing that caught my attention at the dental office, ain't that person I'm married to right now. I like this person a whole lot better. But back then, I was just in love with that little cute thing from the dental office. Got my teeth cleaned every 3 months. Didn't need it, but she was there. I mean, that was just love in the very beginning, because I saw that. But then I was talking about, when we started talking expectations, Thomason was talking about you ensure that as you're doing your premarital counseling or your premarital dating, you're discussing, first of all, I'm going back to his chapter he talked about the spiritual beliefs. He did a great job of that, and you guys interacted great too, making sure everyone was on the same page, that we believe in the same God, and that even if I'm more into the Bible than that person, or my wife's more in the Bible than me, that we meet each other where we are, and we kind of show them Christ by how we're actually living or plan to live. So I'm not going to go through that one, but you all did a great job with that one. And then you ran into the family. How does the family get involved in the marriage as a whole, or even pre-marriage? And you guys did a great job discussing that. And the big thing nowadays, as some of you mentioned on last week, was the blended families now, and how you're blending into each other. You have kids, they have kids, and how you're making that work now. And that's a beautiful thing, because then if you stop and think about it, we're all blended. First of all, we're trying to blend a man and a wife who are so used to their own ways, now coming together as one. That part really got me. And the world will say, you all are, we like to use that phrase, and it was in Patrice's book, you complete me. I don't like that phrase, never have. Because I think if she, like the book says, you can complete me, then you can leave me. And then I'm incomplete. I don't look at it that way. I like to look at the word as you compliment me. You, by being with you, you make me better. But you don't complete me. I should be complete moving in. I got flaws, I got problems, I got all that, but I don't want to put all that on you either. That's too much on your shoulder, that you have to complete me. And again, it's not me getting all preachy, but that complete thing and that make me happy thing bothers me. But it took me 35 years to recognize that too, though. Because now my job is, I'm gonna make her as happy as I possibly can. I am. But don't tell me that's my job to make you happy. Because then if I leave, you ain't happy again. I don't like that. You know, it's a victim of circumstances there. So, but if we, in the very beginning, start talking things over during that draft about what we want in terms of our home, how many kids are we going to have? What church are we going to attend? How is our finances going to be? Are you going to continue working, et cetera, et cetera? I mean, just the basic things. And I got to run a credit check on. You got to run one on me for the financial part of that. Everybody don't like that, but you got to know what's going on, because they don't always tell you. And right now, there's sites out there telling you everything about everybody. So if you want to know, you can easily find out. But 35 years ago, as you guys know, all that didn't exist. But it is out there right now. But going just back to, as we start talking about football in this, though, again, go back to that draft. All that is from a personal point of view, what we're looking for as we try to draft somebody into our life, hopefully to spend the rest of their lives with us. As you know, there are some football players that spend their whole life on one team. And there's some football players that go out for free agency and find somebody else. So again, that's the parallel to real life and real marriage. But as we talk about marriage, we think about those vows again. Until death do us part. Think about that. Until death do us part. That's deep. It really is. So you're looking for a lifetime partner. And I'm gonna let you guys talk in a second, but when I went into marriage, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Thomas said I could be real. Marriage scared the heck out of me. Yes, it did. Because I saw some marriages out there that I did not like. I didn't like the way some people treated each other and they called themselves not married. Now, when I did this, remember, I got parents that had been married 53 years. So I saw the version I liked, and it wasn't perfect. Please don't get that wrong. But I saw respect. My mother respected my father. My father respected my mother. I saw that. There was no hitting. There was no cursing each other out. Again, I'm not saying they were perfect. It's not what I'm saying. But as I went outside my house and listened to other people talk about their marriage and this and that and just berating each other, I said, and fighting, I said, I don't want to do that. Or fighting each other in public. I mean, just verbally. I said, wait, how is that love? How is that marriage? So I said, I'm going to hold out as long as I can. But when Stephanie proposed, that all ended. But I was out there just looking at, should I? Or some of y'all caught that, some of y'all didn't, but that's all right. Because I wasn't going to propose. I'm still scared. But she was letting me know that it's going to be all right. I am the one for you. And she proved that to me. But as I started looking at that marriage thing in terms of who do I want and who I don't want, and what was I looking for to complement me, then I found my wife Stephanie, and we actually would sit down and we actually did that. We actually had those discussions about what we were looking for in a future mate or somebody to be married to for life. Now, I'll be honest with you, I stayed out her past because honestly, I didn't care. I didn't care about who she dated before me because I knew they couldn't touch me. I wasn't even worried about that. It was an unfair comparison. Don't do a man like that. That's what I told him. That ain't right. And so she never asked me because I leave that alone because I was more. But at the same time, I was asking her, what really bugged you about your last relationship? I did ask those type of questions. Not only what are you looking for, but what caused your last one not to make it? What really upset you with that? So what I'm trying to say is people don't really like those type of conversations, but you're not trying to hurt anybody. You're just trying to figure out, are we compatible? It's the same thing they do in football. I mean, they do a 40-yard dash to see how high they can jump, can they catch the ball, doing all kind of stuff, kind of make sure how they're going to work. They're vetting them. So the marriage relationship prior to that dating, you actually are vetting. If you, again, for those that are premarital, you know what I'm talking about, but those that have been married a while, you kind of knew what you were looking for. I'm just going to stop and just ask a question. Those that are listening right now, when you were just dating that person, and briefly tell me, what were you actually looking for in your marital mate? Honestly, what were you looking for? Now, y'all can put your hands up at once. Now we got to slow this down.
I'll go ahead and go.
Go ahead.
I think for myself, after a string of short-term relationships I really wasn't really happy with, what I did that was different was I actually prayed to God of what I wanted my mate to be.
We both did.
And I found out later that my wife Angel did the same. But some of the things that I can recall that I prayed for was I wanted someone who was not going to be, on the surface. Someone who I could have deep conversations with, someone who wasn't materialistic, someone who would be loyal, just those are just a couple of examples of some of the things that I had in mind based on previous relationships that didn't last. And so I feel like it worked. I got exactly what I was looking for.
Thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. Someone else? Okay. Y'all been shy this morning. See, when Thomas was teaching, y'all wasn't shy. That's all right. It's okay.
That's because I pick them out, Tom.
Oh. Okay. And again, we're asking for you all to sort of think back a little bit. I know that. What were you looking for? That's what I would say. Okay, let's switch a little bit there. If you were talking to a new couple about to get married, what advice would you give them as far as that vetting process? Let's try that then. This ain't you no more. This is what you would tell that person. What to look out for, things you've learned from your experience of being married. What is important that they look for in a mate? Just how would you do that one? Oh, Ray, you talking, Ray, but I think you're still mute. I saw your mouth move.
For me, it would be things like what are their views, their faith views, whether or not they want children or not. That was one of my things, whether or not they wanted children or not, their thoughts on how children should be raised,
Okay.
their financial views,
Okay.
things like that. I would be looking for things like that. As a matter of fact, those are some of the questions I asked Dickie. I said, this vetting process is going to be short, so if these answers are not right, we're done.
Some of y'all hard. I'm with you. Don't waste unnecessary time. I'm with you. My time or yours. I get you. Okay. And anyone else? What would you tell someone thinking about getting married now in terms of what they should look out for or what they should be aware of? Okay. All right.
I want to hear from some of the women, okay? Because
There you go,
ladies,
there you go.
you all
Yeah, the
always
women
got a
know.
whole lot of advice.
That's
So
right.
what would you tell a potential friend what to look out for if she told you that she was about to get married or she was interested? Come on, Tom, pull them teeth.
Oh yeah. All right now. Let's see what you got. Women's time now. Go ahead.
I can speak.
Okay.
This is Takesha. If I had a friend who was looking to get married and things of that nature, I will encourage my friend to talk about future goals, because sometimes some people will wait until they marry and they realize their goals are different. And it can lead to so many arguments, whether if one spouse wanted to have children, or one spouse wanted to go back to school and make themselves better. And now, they working and they bringing in more of the income. It could become a clash.
Yeah.
And so being on that same page and discussing future goals, because I know I did that with my husband and we be going on 21 years next month. So one of my biggest things was just seeing what your future goals are, because we're going to be together. So I need to know what you think about far as us being together and what our future will look like. So again, I would tell her future goals, what those plans are, see if they align, because you don't want to go down the road and there be a disagreement and you guys are not together on this thing, and then you find yourself in counseling. So future goals.
Excellent.
Okay, this is Linda Love. I am a list person. First, I would tell them to write a list of what they want for themselves. And then once you find out what you want for yourself, then you can find out what you want from someone else.
I like that.
So that's the first thing I would do.
Excellent. Okay.
I would tell them to find out if your husband has a vision for his life. Is he just content with just getting up and going to work every day? Or does he want to expand? Does he want a business? Is there a vision that both you and him can work together toward? Because otherwise you all just getting up, going to work, doing the same thing over and over every day. And you're just not, really accomplishing much. I feel like when you're married, that you and your husband should accomplish something together and build something together.
Beautiful. In most workplaces, even today, as we talk about football or any workplace, every year or so, mostly every year, they sort of do a performance review of that player. They score them. How well did they do this year? And versus the other wide receivers in the league, how did you do? How many yards did you get versus everybody else? Versus how many games you played? Well, as we start talking personal goals, that same thing applies to your marriage. Once you're married, you should also be doing an evaluation and talking to each other in terms of, are we meeting the goals that we planned for ourselves? And what have we planned personally? And again, to encourage each other, not to jump on each other, but to encourage, and also make sure we're on the same page. I had one married couple talk to me and they said, right before our anniversary, 2 weeks before, we sit down and talk, and I ask her, have I been treating you like the wife you want to be treated as? And she'll get to ask me. I had to shut up and take notes. Ain't no rebutting it, saying no, I didn't. She has to sit there and listen. I have to sit there and listen and love. And we make sure we're in a restaurant where she can't go off on me. There's people around. So she got to wait till I finish. I wait till she finishes. We get our list and we say, honey, you never told me I wasn't meeting that. And well, you never told me you needed that. You see, it was a communication thing. But he said every year they reassess. And I thought that was a bit much. Then I thought about it. No, it isn't. My job does that to me. They reassess me what they're gonna keep. Not this ain't about keeping, no. This is about keeping the love flowing and us getting to know each other better. Not this. Now you may have to give them a performance review, ways to get better development plan. Now that's different. But y'all discussing, y'all talking. See, the world do this stuff better than we do because they have a goal. So like whoever talks about that mission statement and that vision, because what they say, without vision, my people will perish. Same thing goes with a marriage. So when we start talking about those personal goals, my wife and I do the same thing. Because when I first married, this as an example, she was, were you a nurse then?
Oh, no.
Oh, because she was thinking, she was a dental tech thinking about being a nurse. But we talked about that. But lo and behold, after we got married, then she said, I think I want to go get a master's degree now. Well, we hadn't discussed that. Let me just say this. I'm an accountant. I hadn't budgeted for that. Let's just say it like that. But she said, I want to go get a master's degree now. I said, well, you already smart enough. Look who you married. what you got to prove? But that wasn't enough. So I'm saying I married this nurse who's going to take care of me because, I had this cough. So now she's there all the time. And then she said she want to get a master's degree. And we looked at the cost of that. And I'm saying, well, we're investing in we, aren't we? You're investing in you invested in me. It's probably gonna be more money and income for us. Not a bad thing, but in the meantime, we're gonna take a hit. And as a man, I had to think about that because I'm used to living a certain way. But I'm saying, and I don't like bills. I don't like those. I want to pay off this thing. So that was personally on me. So I said, first of all, as a plan, let's pay off your old student loans. Get those paid off. Now I've got the master's degree. And so we go ahead and finish that. So that's one of her goals she wanted that I was happy for. I didn't show up at the graduation. So y'all know I was there for. So after we finish that, then she comes at me again. I'm thinking about opening up my own business. Now, where'd that come from? That wasn't, we've been talking. You got a good job. They like the master's degree. I like the fact that we got all of it. I'm an accountant. Debits and credits got to meet. But we love each other. I get that. I said, well, what's this gonna cost me? She said, blah, 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 blah. I said, okay. So we can do that. We can put out this and that. We can make this work. Again, meeting together, discussing. And then y'all, she ain't stopped there. Again, 35 years, love her to death. Call her wifey. That's her pet name. Then she said, I want to open my own business. Where that? So y'all been discussing this out like y'all read our mind. Where that come from? Where open your own business? I mean, you got the master's degree, got the PhD, we doing great. I'm fighting, settle down. Maybe I want to go to school. Now, that ain't true, but I just want to throw that out there. Maybe it's my turn. But it wasn't. And then she had her own business for 8 years. What I'm trying to say, fellas, and that is, I had to listen to what she wanted, what was on her heart, and she felt safe to ask me those things. But every time she did, she didn't say, I'm gonna do it, I don't care what you say. She came at me the right way with respect and with honor. And I told her, even when we first got married, and I was true, I said, look, and Thomas and Patrice has heard me say this a lot. They think I was just joking. I told her, I'm going to outlove you. I'm going to outserve you. I'm going to out honor you, and I'm going to out respect you. You can't beat me doing those things. That was me, because that's what I saw in the world I didn't like. So I said, when it come to you, that's how I'm coming at you. I said, regardless, I don't care what you do, I'm going to listen. Now, I ain't perfect. I didn't say that, because I know I'm the type of guy I'm pretty calm most of the time, unless I'm teaching. Then people think I'm out there. That's all right. But as an accountant, I'm kind of conservative. But I was trying to tell her, I said, I know what I don't like, and I know how women should be treated. Because I said, I don't really consider y'all the weaker sex. Y'all some strong women. My mother was strong, so it wasn't that. But I always tell Thomas too that I hardly ever ask a man how his wife is doing or ask her how she's doing. I just look at her. It's the countenance or the facial expression on that wife tell me how well she's being treated. Because that you can't hide that. Women ain't gonna have nothing on their face. I found that out a long time ago. The words may come out different, but that face tells you, am I being treated right? Is everything okay? So I told her point blank, as far as personal goals and whatnot, it's gonna be all about respect. And I think, as we start talking about this personal goals, spiritual belief, family information, Marriage really comes down to three major things, or the hurdles that get in everybody's way during the draft or outside the draft. Communication, that's the big C. You gotta communicate. Earlier in our relationship, she found out I could not read her mind. I would grab the little globe and hold on to it. It still didn't work. I didn't know what she was thinking. And she finally started telling me that. And the second one was, again, finance, and then sex. Those three will mess up any type of marriage. It just will. And now bringing up Trump. I mean, it's 4 now, but prior to that, it was just 3. But it was just, it was awesome that everything boils, if you take the sex and the finance part, it still comes back to communication. You have to communicate about what you want and what you don't want. And if you can't communicate and y'all having fights and stuff even before you get married, it ain't gonna change when you do. Because we always think that once I marry this person, I can change them. Love can change you. No, it can't. No, it can't. No, it can't. You can try, but it's not gonna work. They're not gonna change. I told her, I realized right away that you don't really change anybody but yourself or your thoughts about that individual or what you're gonna deal with. This other married couple I ran into, she said, this man, he takes care of these kids, he goes to work every day, he's loving me, but doggone it, he won't pick up his socks. And she's just going off, just other women there listening to her. Oh, that's the biggest problem you got with him? I take him? I mean, because again, in their eyes, that's a little thing. But that throwing down them socks and not putting in the hamper would just had her just going. And I get it, don't get me wrong. I mean, Thomas Henderson is my friend. He's one of them neat freaks too, so I get this. But that shouldn't break up a marriage. Toilet stool being down shouldn't break up a marriage, shouldn't start fights all the time. Now, it would be nice, I mean, the toilet seat being down, that individual would maybe think about that sometime, but that's a little thing compared to the big thing. He was doing the big things. He was faithful. He's coming home every night. He's a working man. He's a man of God. That's a little thing. And again, that's communication is all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything is perfect, but let's find out what's little, what's big, and let's pick the fights as we start talking about that. And as we go into that financial goals part, I'm going to make sure I'm following it. You've got to have a financial goal of where you are, where you guys are going or don't want to go. I told you how she kept putting those extra expenses on me, but she was investing in us. And I even heard some couples say, you know, once they start making more money than you, though, they can start telling you what to do. Where'd that come from? Us making more money, not she making more money. And I always tell her, if she throw it up at me, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I said, well, I paid for your degree. I always throw that out there. Don't get me nowhere, but I got to throw that out there. That's all I got now. Because she got the degrees on me now. And I thought about it, I said, you know, as we start talking about the financial part, no one wants to talk about that at the beginning, but you have to. We have to know, again, what debts are you bringing into this marriage? What creditors are left out there? Now, again, she told me about the student loans right away. She didn't hide that from me. She said, I don't want you to pay those though. I'll take care of that. I said, no, we will take care of that. Ain't no I no more. You married me. Remember, out love, out serve, out respect, out pay. I'm gonna be there for you. And people didn't realize that when it comes to financial goals, that man or that woman may come in there with debt, but they got everything else. I mean, everybody goes through some hard times. That ain't the problem. Which is why prior to marrying them, y'all, and some of y'all get this, they call that person your significant other. Anyone ever heard that term? Your significant other? You really break that down into 4 words if you really think about it when it comes to finance. Significant is sign if I can't. Now, some of y'all in the financial world get that right away. Sign if I can't. That's your significant order. So if you got bad credit and I got good credit, I can now sign stuff for you because until we get you on your right. That's a joke, but y'all get it. Don't get all serious on me. But that's what significant order means to me. My significant order, sign if I can. That's all right. But as you discuss the financial part and you get on the same page, how much are we going to save? Are we going to get another home or whatnot? All that is discussion in terms of finance. Okay, kind of think about that. Now, as we start discussing that part also of finance, we also get to the other part that we are discussing here. Unless anyone have anything they want to add about the finance part before I move on to our next section, I'll make sure that you all feel good about that part. Anything on the finance part that someone in here wants to add? Okay. See, Thomas was just grab people. Y'all gonna make me do that too, because I will do it because he knows me. I will. And anything about finance that was of a concern to you prior to marriage and how it is right now after you discussed it maybe? Anybody got an actual case study for me?
Good morning. I'll share.
Thank you.
My husband and I, we've been married 21 years. And we met in college. So a lot of this stuff we didn't think about because we were so young, but money was our thing that we took care of before we got married. And that was one thing that was never an issue for us because we took care of that before we got married. I was horrible with money. As soon as I got it, I spent it. And my husband, he was the saver. And so that was like his non-negotiable. That was, if I didn't get that in order, we weren't going to get married, which, and I, of course I fought that. It's my money. I can do whatever I want. But with maturity, we dated a long time before we got married too. So that was the one thing that we took care of. And that was the only thing that we never had to talk about. We've been to marriage counseling for other things, but not that. So it's important, whatever it is that you is a non-negotiable that you can't live with, or you need to speak up and say that, because those things can be taken care of before you get married, and it'll save you a lot of trouble.
I like that. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else on finance that you've learned or have an anecdote that you can share with the group that could help someone? Especially you couples that have been married a lot. You guys have so much maturity, so much knowledge. Don't hide all that wisdom. You got it.
You can't hide anything. You can't hide anything with your finances. It'll all come out after the vows.
Ted, I gotta. All right. After the audit you talk about, Ted, I'm with you. I'm with you with that. I'm with you.
Well, me and Jerry, this is Linda Love. Me and Jerry met in high school when we were 16, our junior year. My thing was to make sure he graduated, because I know I was, but we didn't have any money. So we came in with nothing, and everything we got, it was ours together. So we never had money problem because it was always ours, and we learned how to be together and do it because we started young. But when you got a couple that's been married before, came in 5 or 6 years, they had theirs, it's harder. So with us, we never had that problem. What's mine is his, and what's his is mine.
I like that. I like that.
This is Eunice. I'm gonna chime in. Dennis and I got married 5 years ago, but we met sometime in high school. But in doing so, that was one of the conversations we had in terms of we were about to retire. It's like, what your retirement look like? What mine look like? Don't combine them.
That's right.
So we opened joint accounts, savings and checking, household. So it's working.
All right. Yeah. And I like the way you said that. Everybody's answer about how the finances gonna be high ain't for everybody. You have to find out what works for you with love and with respect. Remember that. Go ahead.
Hey, it's just back to that old song, and sometimes it rings true. No romance without finance.
Yeah, that is one of the true ones. Okay.
Can I say this also, Tom?
Oh, go ahead.
Even with a football game, even with the draft process, the person, the team owners are looking for how are you going to financially stabilize or advance our team? So you just don't come in just because I just happen to love you. You come in also, how can you be an asset to what we already have?
No, I like that. I like that.
I have a friend, associate at this point. He actually became ill after he got married. And because of his illness, his wife divorced him. She just shared that she could not handle taking care of him. And he had to then depend on family. How long had they been? They had been married like about 4 or 5 years when he divorced, when they got divorced. But they were also like high school sweethearts and things like that. But when it came down to real life issues, I don't think they talked about those kind of things. What happened if I got sick? What if I lost my job?
There you go. And again,
I think that
go ahead.
I think that women have to be careful on what they're asking for and what they're looking for, because we can say we're looking for somebody with good credit, somebody who has a stable job. But do you have good credit? Do you have a stable job? I mean, Ray and I, we met when we were later, you know, we were 39 and 40 years old. And I had to get my credit straight. I didn't want to go into the marriage with jacked up credit, and you know, so you have to be careful what you're looking for, because when you're looking for somebody who's compatible, you want to make sure that you're doing the right things also.
Oh, I like that. There you go. Okay. See, y'all keeping it real. I like that. Again,
No,
I'm saying
Miss Vicky.
Go ahead. What? I'm just saying it again, even as we start talking finance, we don't know what has happened to someone that has put them in that bad credit situation. Somebody could have been stolen identity. So again, you still want to get the background of what really happened. It was interesting in like the first 3 years of marriage with my wife. Again, I'm saying I'm an accountant, and Thomas will say I'm out conservative and sometimes too conservative. I had never had a late notice in my life. That's just me. I'm paying everything on time. And we got a $72 light bill late notice. And it's not that we ain't had the money, it's that she was busy doing other stuff, and then all of a sudden, bing, and I almost I came in there with my hand over my heart, and it was just, I was hurting, you know, just, I couldn't see how she could do this to me. She said, well, I didn't even see that happen. I said, well, but you said you wanted to handle the checkbooks and all that. Why don't you just kind of give that over to me? Now, keep in mind, you all, she hadn't done nothing wrong. We had moved from one house to another, and that bill had got lost. You see what I mean? Extenuating circumstances. It wasn't her fault, so I didn't come down hard. I mean, I didn't sit at the dinner table for a week because I'm a little upset. But other than that, we worked that thing out. But I said, why don't you give me those bills? Because I'm going to put them on auto pay, because this is what I do. But you said you wanted to do it, so I gave it to you. And now look what you've done. But it ain't your fault. I still love you. Nothing but love. And so after that never happened again. And she said, I ain't got to pay bills anymore. I kind of like this life too. I said, yeah, but I like doing it. I ain't well, let me do it. You know, that's what I do. So that little thing, but I'm just saying that background of finding out what really happened, what went wrong. I'm still trying to check that out, but I still believe in that significant other thing too at the same time. I'm all for that. But again, see how big that is? As we talk about that finance, you got to have communication. First of all, you got to be communicating anyway. I think you all, if you think back a little bit, when you were dating, they couldn't get y'all off the phone, couldn't shut you up. Anybody fall asleep underneath the dining room table just talking that lovey-dovey stuff? I'm just talking. I don't know what, fall asleep, wake back up and finish the conversation. You know, y'all had, well, maybe y'all didn't have a life I lived. That was my life, okay? I had fun with that, just talking. Then I hear couples say, we get together, he don't talk no more. She don't talk anymore. Well, what happened? Fellas, ladies, get back to doing what you always did. Talk to each other. I didn't say go at each other, talk to each other, communicate. But again, as you start doing that evaluation and talking with each other, you still love that woman, you still love that man. I didn't say anything was perfect. But remember, you're not really supposed to go to bed with anger. Remember that too. You know, or if you are gonna go to bed angry, you know how to make it better, you know. I told my wife, you know, I told her, if we get angry with each other, we both go to bed naked. That's our rule. That's a non-negotiable. It's just a non-negotiable. You gotta have them. We can be mad at each other all we want. We're going to bed naked. That's what we're gonna do. And just be mad at each other naked. And it never lasts long, y'all. That anger over with. But that's just because I don't want to go to bed angry. Plus of all, it ain't much to be angry at. Sometimes I'll just start an argument because I know how we're gonna make up. That's just me. I know it's wrong, but I've confessed it, you know, it's fine. Thomas and Patrice helped me through it, said, stop that. Still ain't stopped, but that's just how it goes. But again, communication, sex, and finance. Now, again, when it comes to the sex, I'm kind of going to keep that one kind of short because I heard a lot of stuff about that. I know that, but that's important in a marriage too. You all coming together as one. That's love. That is, again, I didn't like the way Patrice did it, you know, putting on your heels and coming down in the middle of halftime. I mean, you can't do that to a man. Because now he torn, you know, he want to get with the cheerleader, but he want to finish the game. You know, it's just, and I'm just saying like Thomas did, wait till halftime, you know, because that's 15 whole minutes and we ain't going that long anyway. So we good. We can work that out. I can get back down and finish my game. But see, you can't just mess with him like that. Or when she's watching one of her favorite Hallmark movies or Lifetime, whatever she like, we can't interrupt her then. It don't work that way. What does that come with, people? Communication, knowing the one you love. Or sit down there with him. I couldn't believe it. When we first got married, we were sitting in bed watching cowboy movies. What is wrong? The cowboy channel. What is wrong? But she loved it. I loved it. So then she started watching Lifetime. So I joined her. She joined me on the Cowboys. I joined her on the Lifetime movies. Again, I had to eventually get off that man-hating station, but it was okay. I understood I said, is there any good men on here? Any of them treat they, no, that's why it's called Lifetime. I said, fine. But I sat there with her. What I'm trying to say is I found what she loved and I joined her in it. This is why we're saying every now and then, join him in watching that football game. It ain't gonna kill you. It really ain't. You know, because Lifetime, I mean, I was calling for help on that thing. I just, is all men, any other men watching this? Why y'all, are they making you? That type of thing, but I got it. But it's kind of what we do. But when it comes back to even with sex and finance, it's communication. It's he's loving me, he's coming for me, or she's coming for me. And women, and most of you have been married a while, you already know that. It's okay for the woman to initiate. Don't wait on that man all the time, and vice versa. Y'all married, what they say on TV, us married. Enjoy marriage, enjoy the good times. That's all I'm trying to say. And again, the marriage bed undefiled. Have fun. You in your own house. Okay. The other thing is I was reading in here is about wives and husbands being lonely while being married. A lot of things we've talked about today will stop some of that loneliness. You find out why they're lonely. How do you get into a room full of people and you still feel lonely? And again, I'm just saying, I'm not making fun of that. I'm trying to say that the helpmate is the one to help you through all of this. You're lonely, why? You're married. You didn't get married to be alone or lonely. And that just comes back to communicating and talking, finding out that needs are being met, loving each other, respecting each other. My wife had to tell me that a little bit. She said, you know, you stopped talking as much as you used to. And I said, I thought I was talking too much. And I'm like, so this is what I'm doing now. But I said, I will definitely spend more time, whatever is needed. What I liked about her is she came and told me what was wrong before it got too bad. Before stuff festers, you all have to communicate and get that off your mind. Because I'm gonna tell women, for a man, you can't throw 20 things at him at one time. When that first thing go wrong, deal with it. Don't wait till it get 20 and then you come with the jackhammer. That's too much. We can't handle it. We try, but it's too much. Okay. I'm just saying, when something you don't like anything, you discuss. But the key there is the honor and the respect and the tone. That's major too. That tone is major. I'm not saying you know what I'm talking about. It's how you discuss something with me. It ain't necessarily what you said. And I learned with my wife, again, it's how I talk to it. It ain't always what, sometimes she'll say, well, I didn't realize that was the way it was. I said, yeah, that's how I felt it. But you tell me how you feel. And it's okay to talk about it and discuss it. We're not hollering at each other. And I would also ask during that communication stage, husbands and wives, let each other finish. I know you're ready to rebut. I get that. And that's the middle of the word rebut is but. No, let them finish. Because again, 35 years of marriage, women have more words than we do. You got to give them time to get it out and to finish it. I mean, sometimes to stop my wife, I have to say, I got to go pee. Because it's just going on. But I'm trying to be real with her though, because it's get to the point. Because as men, we're trying to solve it right away. We're problem solvers. You know, the quarterback threw the ball and the guy missed it. Wait, he didn't want to run. We forgot what's wrong right away. No. Sometimes the woman just wants to talk. She wants to talk it out. And if you let her talk it out, she'll solve it herself half the time. And after my wife gets through and I'll like, yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, I ain't said a word. She's discussed the problem and solved it. And I sat there because why? She wanted somebody to listen to her. Why do you think marriage counselors and psychiatrists and them get so much time and make so much cash? A lot of times they ain't saying a doggone thing, but they're giving you the ability to talk. And now you're paying them to sit there. I get that, but they're sitting there listening to you and you feel better because the stuff that you're saying, that they're saying to you, most of the time you already know, but now somebody sat there and respected you and let you say it. And you did say it, and on and on and on. And I have no problem with that because again, you just need somebody to talk to. Especially, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Someone was talking about what type of husband to be looking for. I remember that one married couples seminar that Pastor Meeks had that we all went to. And some of you may remember, some of you may not. And the title was, if I can remember that. Is your marriage a bedpan type marriage? I've never forgotten that. This was before the pandemic. What he was saying is, someone mentioned it on here, if your wife or your spouse or person you're about to get married gets sick, will you take care of them? If you have to put a bedpan underneath them, will you? Now, here's where Pastor was coming from. She'll put that bedpan underneath you if you've been treating her right. Let me see, think about what he just said. If you've been loving on her, respecting her, giving her the courtesy she needs, being there for her, she ain't got a problem. But those that walk out when something really goes wrong, it means they haven't been treated right all along in their own eyes. Not necessarily in yours, but think about this. This is before the pandemic. This is over 20 years ago when he talked about that bedpan marriage. And that discussion I have never, ever forgotten. Why would she want to stay with me if I get sick? Think about that. And nobody wants to discuss that during the dating period. I know that. If I get seriously ill, cancer, anything, would you be there? Because I expect you to be there. Because our vows said for better or for worse, for richer or for poor. Anyone remember them? I know everybody writing their own vows now. You know why they do that? Because they don't like those. Okay? They want to get into that marriage. And my wife and I were seeing it on TV just 2 days ago. It really sickened my heart. They said, you want a divorce? We can guarantee you'll be out in 30 days and under X amount of money. We guarantee it. I said, wow. Is that easy now? And people clapping, yeah, that's all it takes. I can do it for you. I don't get with that. I'm saying, again, unless there's physical abuse or something terrible, there's no reason to ever leave each other. Work yourselves through it. And I bet most of the couples only have worked through some what we call some terrible things that they thought was terrible. They thought they would never ever get through. But with prayer and with counseling and reading that Bible, the actual playbook, you got yourselves through it. Maybe you didn't think you were going to, but you did. Prayer. And please, as you guys do that, communicating with each other, whether it's sex, finance, or loneliness, make sure you take time to pray together. That's not a little thing. And I'll say this to the husbands and wives. If you're not thinking you're being treated right, pray for that person. Don't pray on them. Pray. If you're not praying together, get alone and pray for that person. Pray for that person that God will bless them like he's never, ever blessed them before. I mean, you pray that God would just do anything he can for them to give them peace, give them understanding, give them the job that they want. Whatever they're looking for, you pray. Because I finally figured out when the Bible tells us to pray for our enemies, what that really does. It's hard to hate anybody you're praying for. It is. You can't hate them no more. Now you done wished all this great stuff for them, and now unless you're a Gemini, there's two of y'all. But other than that, it's hard to actually do that. If you really care about that person, you're praying for them now, praying that God will restore them, bring them back. Not saying, God, I hope you will get in there and help them realize that I'm right. No, that's not a prayer. No, that's not what I said. You're praying that he would open up communication lines and bless her like she's never been blessed before. I love praying for my wife, especially when I don't get my way. I go in there and talk to God about it. Then he realized, no, you're wrong, Tom. She's right. Or there's a middle ground, Tom. And then I just ask, Lord, is that really you? You know who's talking to you sometimes because he ain't agreeing with me. But I get it. But the communication thing is major. The prayer part is major. Now, as we sort of—
Hey, Tom. Out of this at all. And one of the things that we've been talking about is understanding the offense versus the defense. So how can you help Sharon to make sure that she understands how those two terms work in a football game and in a marriage?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Thomas. Well, again, the real basics of it. In offense, there's 11 people on the field trying to score a touchdown. They get 4 plays to go 10 yards. If they can't go to 10 yards, then the other team gets the ball. Which is why for the first 3 times they're trying to go 10 yards, whether running or passing, if they don't make the 10 yards, they'll kick the ball away, making sure the next team must go much further to actually get their actual first down. It's called a first down. That's really what it is. You get 4 plays to get a first down. But here's what Thomas was saying. There's 11 people on offense trying to make that first down, and there's 11 people on defense trying to stop you from making that first down. So think of those as the principalities, the demons trying to stop anything going on right in your marriage. Sometimes it could be your family members. Sometimes it's your best friends. Anybody coming against your marriage. That's the defense of it all. So again, that's the same thing with when you're married. Okay, your offense is that prayer. Your offense is that communication. Your offense is that playbook. That offense is working things out no matter what and praying for each other. That's the offensive part of it, which is the beautiful part, because you don't know what's coming your way. Whether it's a loss of a job, like this gentleman said, a loss of your health. Who expects to actually lose their health or be in a car accident, et cetera, whatever, or even get COVID without nobody to take care of them? Which goes back to that offense again in that marriage. Hey, treat them well. Love the heck out of them. I want to use hell, but you know what I mean. My wife, people will tell, they'll say, Tom, your biggest problem is you've been whipped. I said, well, if I've been whipped, keep on whipping me. Because this is a great thing, because she happy. And I mean, most of the time my wife will tell you she's happy because one, I told her, look, it ain't about me. This marriage is about us, but it's more about you. Because I know that I, as the man, control the temperature of our marriage. I do that. And you just react to it. Again, a lot of men don't like me about that, but that's what I tell them. It's your job to set the temperature of that household by how you react and don't react and how you treat her. Because all a woman is going to do is respond, even the strong ones. And I told you, I didn't marry no weak one. Bachelor's degree, master's degree, start her own business, PD. She don't need to ask me no questions. She really doesn't. I'll be coming to her. Can you read this to me? Do you understand? Can you understand what they're trying to say here? But the intelligence has nothing to do with the respect. At the same time, she said, well, what happens if I start making more money than you? I said, then we got more money. What do I care? I ain't one of them people, because all our monies go together for our future. Then she got me, said, you really mean that? I said, yeah. I said, my 401k, you know who the beneficiary is? You are. What about the kids? I said, what about them? I mean, that's just how I feel. You want to give them something, you go ahead and give them something, but I'm taking care of you. That's my job. And that smile just get bigger and bigger. And I'll say this too, fellas and ladies, it's more than the words, it's the actions. It's always the actions. And I'm gonna bring this a little bit back to the sex part. If you want them just to be overwhelming and loving in that bedroom, you be overwhelming and loving in the kitchen, living room, bathroom, every other place you're spending with her. Help her become a true helpmate around that home. And you ain't got to worry about that bedroom. It is there. Again, women reciprocate. Women are loving. They're all about love. I found that out, just loving, from my mother to my wife. And I think Veronica Abney said that well. You do have to have some things that are non-negotiable in your life prior to marrying them. But now, once you're married, if it wasn't a non-negotiable, it don't matter. Now, how do we make this work in such a way that our kids see the love in everything? So I stopped and asked my kids, it was like, I think we've been married 35 years. I said, what do you see most about your parents' marriage? Well, she said, well, you never cuss at my mom. You don't beat my mom. You respect her and you'll listen to her. Even if you don't always do everything I said, you see all that? I said, yeah. I said, who said that? I watch you all. I said, okay. You'll be surprised at who's watching you. Not only other couples, but also your children. She said, in public, you don't go off on, no matter what happens, she don't go off on you. I said, because we have mutual respect. We're not perfect. And sometimes I'm mad at her. Yes, I am. But I know how to, I'm not going to embarrass her out there in front of anybody. See, and I think that that's major and that's important. So we just have to realize again, what are we doing? Why are we doing it, et cetera? And how can we model the perfect marriage that God wants to see, or the best marriage that God wants to see? As the defense of the world comes against us, how can we offensively take care of the one that we love? Now, one thing as we sort of end this, in this chapter, as we're talking about the vetting process, okay? What are some of the key points that you guys got out of this entire section? From the time Thomas taught last week to me talking this week to you reading the chapter for yourself. I wanted to sort of end on that one. What were some of the key points that you learned from this section that you think could help you or help others? Because I think it's a great book. They did a great job with this. And make sure you're not on mute if you're trying to talk, just so you guys don't know. What are some of the major points you got out of this section of that vetting process, that dating process prior to getting married? Who have we not heard from? That's on there, Patrice. Those probably the nuggets that we're missing.
So what was a highlight from the draft process or vetting process for you? Or what could you share with someone?
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it too. Yes.
I think that it's to complement your team, not to complete your team, but to complement somebody to bring themselves, their whole selves, and you have your whole person, but to complement each other.
I like that. Excellent. Anyone else? Just something that stuck out with you or that you think would be a key point that you could
Come with a playlist. Come with your playlist.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Come with your own playlist. I like that, Linda. All right.
I believe that when it's like you were saying earlier, communication is the key. When you communicate with one another, you get to understand what each other's finances are, what we like, what we dislike. And then you come to the point where in this relationship, nobody is bigger than the other. Yeah. Regardless if you make more than me or I make less. It's about us building together. It's just like football. You the superstar player, but I'm on the team too. So I makes a part of this thing. Your talent and my talent together, we get us to the goal we want to reach. And that's to the Super Bowl and to win it. So in a relationship is to accomplish everything that we want to accomplish within our relationship.
Beautiful. I like that.
Can I say something? In terms of the book, one of the things that I learned with that in football and in our relationship, sometimes you have to repeat those good plays. And you might have to repeat until you get it right.
That's right. I like that.
May I say something?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you have to call an audible, it's called, and change the play.
Okay. All right.
At the last moment.
Right. And what she's talking about there, again, for you new football people, is again, you got the offense trying to score, defense trying to score. Offense comes to the line with like a passing play. They know this is going to work. But all of a sudden, they see the defense got a lot of people back there waiting for you to pass. So you know a pass ain't going to work. So an audible means you change your mind. It's okay to change your mind if you see what's coming your way. It's okay for a woman to change your mind. It's okay for a man to change your mind if you're communicating. So that quarterback has to now audible, tell the team, hey, they know what we're getting ready to do. Let's do this instead. That's all an audible is. Don't make it deep. But the other part I really like is I'm hoping couples are still continuing to do this. Complimenting each other daily if you can. I want you to stop and think about that. Yeah, I know he's a good man, but how often do you tell him that? I know she's a good woman. How often do you tell her that? When dinner's brought to you, are you saying thank you? That ain't her job. When the house is clean, do you compliment, hey, this house looks good, like you used to do? Because those things really help build up your credit with that individual. Again, you're actually making deposits into your marriage as you compliment. And I mean, another thing, how many of y'all still kissing your wives? I just got to throw that out there. And not just when you want some. Just stop by and kiss them. I mean, are you kissing them? I mean, I'm writing a book that's called "Are You Kissing Them?" So that's part of my thing there. But you got these beautiful. Look at these beautiful women on here and these nice-looking men. Take time to hug them and don't want nothing from them. My wife used to ask me, "You want something?" I said, "No, I don't want nothing. It just look good today. If I didn't have to go to work, I'll show you how good." But that's how that thing go. But it's just again, after 35 years, I still want to kiss her. She'll tell you every day I give her a kiss. I ain't talking about tongue down her throat. Let's not get all crazy. I'm talking about kiss. Okay, just kiss on the head, hug her, let her know if somebody loves her. You know, you got to send them out with love, welcome them with love. These are things that you used to do. And somebody said, go back to the things you used to do and repeat those things. You know what makes your spouse feel good. Do those things. Make those intentional. Again, like Thomas's books and Patrice's book says, love touchdown, compliment him or her face to face. Listen or prepare his favorite meal. It gets at me even today. She'll cook. And I tell her, that was a great meal. That was delicious. I said, no, it was delicious. Don't tell me what ain't delicious. You cooked it and I want to thank you for it. And people, accept the compliments. Don't throw them off to the side. Accept them. They took the time to give them to you. That's also part of marriage. You look good today in that suit. Let her. You look good in that dress. Tell them. They ask you if they fat, back away, run. Leave that alone. That ain't what you're talking about. Leave that alone. Listen to his dreams. Write him a love letter. Marvel at his talents. Men, women on this call, when the last time you wrote your spouse a love letter? I ain't talking about text them. I said wrote them a letter. You don't have to cursive write, but that helps. That really shows the love. But it's all right. Print, you need to. But it's also reminds you how much you care about this person. I was talking to my friend. I couldn't believe she did it. She said my husband went to work out early this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. I know he's going to work right afterwards. When he got to his car, I had his favorite breakfast meal in there and a love letter. He, I got up and I just did that, surprised the heck out of him. He said he came home so giggling, he called me 5 times that day. That little thing. I mean, she said, all I did was bring him a Chick-fil-A, but he went crazy, but it's because I thought about him out of nowhere. Let's not forget those little things. It ain't always take me to Aruba or San Juan. Do the little things to compliment your mate. Let them know they are special to you. That's all I'm trying to say. You did it during the dating process. Let's continue to do it now. Okay. And again, all that is part of vetting. I know I never got in the first quarter. I told Thomas I probably wouldn't, because a lot of good stuff he wanted to get to, he couldn't, because you all were very involved last week. And I was so happy to see that, because we're not supposed to be talking heads. We want to hear from you, from the newlyweds to those that have been married 30 and 40 years, because that maturity, that's how I want y'all to talk. The maturity that you all got, the problems you've went through and worked through, that is major. It helps everybody else. I also told Thomas and Patrice, I like the football theme against marriage, because that's how Jesus used parables. That's really all it is if you stop and think about it. A parable was something they understood during that day, okay? That parallels with something new he wants to teach them. So that's why we use football and marriage the very same way. Football is our parable for the men. Now the men, this is all about you, because you know all about football, most of you. And your wife may not. But again, this is how we bring her in, to join you in things, and to also show the parallel of how offense and defense and love is all it gets. We're all on the same team, same goal, same vision, even if you have to discuss it. Now, at this point, I know we have to come to an end. Patrice, I want you to know, thank you for letting class. First of all, thank you all for listening to me. And Patrice, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. And Stephanie in the background. Thank you very much. We don't apologize for not getting to the first quarter. I want you to know from every administrator that I report to on down told me to take my time with our book. So they drummed it, take your time. Do you hear me? Take your time. And so we realized we were going to take our time. And so we got actually going to do the first quarter next week. I'm looking forward. I think it'll be Thomas and I up next week. I want to encourage you to invite someone to class. I think this has been amazing as Tom talked about the parallel, or how to parallel love and football and marriage. Let me just say that I think most of us go into marriage thinking we're going to be happily ever after. I was that little girl that wanted that marriage and happily ever after. And we saw our parents married. Don't get me wrong, we did. And we saw what we didn't like. And we thought what we wanted, but some of us never actually saw the actual work. And what I think I learned about football is we bring it to marriage in the first quarter, that after the wedding, after all the reception, and after all that comes the major work in a relationship, not the dating. It is after the I do. And we don't talk about that. And Tom talked about, we'll spend some time about the offense and the defense. We don't put that in our brains when we get married. We're going to talk about, even where some of us are married now. Tom and I've been married 43 years. And I have to remind about, this is an offensive move or a defensive move? And is that helping the team or am I hurting the team? And so we're going to spend a lot of time making sure that we are smarter in our marriages, so we can go forward and have more love touchdowns. I think I said all I'm going to say today. I look forward to you next week. And I encourage you, please. I think God is using not only us, but using you to bless another marriage through this American sport called football. And so if you don't invite them, they can't come. And I'll say it again, a lot of us have our children who are just getting married. Some of our children who are married. I mean, Arizona right now with my daughter, so she's listening. So, invite our children, send them the link, encourage someone to register. I want over 200 people registered for this class. We have an exciting book behind ours and another one behind that one. So listen, we're hearing from some Black authors. I'm excited. Make sure you get your book and buy someone else a book and bring them and invite them here. Tom, any last words before Van closes us in prayer?
Nope, my last words would be, again, this week, try to increase your communication with the one you love, compliment them, love them, hug them, pray for them, pray with them. It's all about the team. Go team.
And as Tom said, behind every section, you have a love touchdown playlist and a 2-minute wrap up. And as I said, start making your love playlist, because I guarantee you can share that with somebody who is getting married or who is already in a relationship, that a play that worked for you. And someone said, I think it was Eunice, if the play don't work this time, you still got it, because you'll have an opportunity to use it again and again, and it'll work one time or the other, right, Eunice? All right. Great job. See you all next week. We will be meeting every Sunday except for first Sunday. So I'll let you guys know. Invite someone and do the work in the book and get your book. And don't forget to put a review of what you've learned so far on Amazon. I think I said it all. All right, Van. Thank you, Tom.
All right, everybody. Let us pray. Father in heaven, thank you for your grace, your goodness, and your mercy. Lord, thank you for waking us up this morning and bringing us into this day. And Lord, as the country is focused on playoff football, thank you for giving us a chance to focus on our marriage this morning. Thank you for the word that went forth from Tom. Lord, please have your hand upon Tom and just continue to bless him and his wife in their marriage, and have it to increase and grow and prosper all the more. Lord, we thank you for Thomas and Patrice. We thank you that you put in their hearts to write this book and to share it with the class. And Lord, we ask that you'll be glorified during these sessions, during these lessons, that we would be the spouses that you call us to be, that you would set forth clear lines of communication with our spouses and help us to treat and love our spouses the way we ought to, in a way that will please you. Lord, our heart's desire is to do your will. So be glorified in our marriages. Strengthen us to do what's right. Give us wisdom, give us guidance, give us patience, and give us strength, and put love in our hearts for our spouses, and help it have that to glorify you as well. Thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for this day. Be with everybody that came to class and bless our marriages with peace this week, with clear communication this week, and with joy. We thank you and we praise you. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Before Van, thank you, Van. Before we close, I'm looking for anybody next week who was a football player that played quarterback or wide receiver. So I want to hear from you guys about some of the things that you were doing, or help us share your quarterback experience, or any position you might have played on the football team. But so get ready. I want to hear from you guys next week. I have a great day, guys.
All right. Great day, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.